Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in for Fran Stoddard. A good teacher can make a world of difference in the life of a student. The best teachers inspire, they listen and communicate, they motivate and collaborate. Well, today we're going to meet one of the best. Karen McCullough is Vermont's 2022 Teacher of the Year. Ms. McCullough is a librarian and technology integration specialist at Mill River Union High School in Clarendon. She was chosen from dozens of nominations from all across the state, and we're honored that she's with us this afternoon via Zoom from Mill River Union High School in Clarendon. Karen, first of all, congratulations, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you, Will. I appreciate the opportunity to talk more about education.
Well, as I say, we are honored to have you with us, and I'm wondering, to get started, what do you think are the qualities of a good teacher?
Well, I think, compassion is huge. It makes a big difference to be able to feel compassion for your students and your families. Education and learning is really hard. I think also good teachers are super curious people. So they're just intellectually curious people, and you're always still learning. Good teachers also have a good bit of resiliency. Even in the best of times, being resilient makes a big difference. But the past 3 years, we've had to use extra resiliency. So I think those three make really good teachers.
All excellent points, and I'm going to come back to COVID resiliency in just a bit. But again, you're entering your 20th year now at Mill River. How has experience changed or shaped you as an educator?
Yeah, I think I have always been a really optimistic person. And I think for some folks in education, you start as a beginning teacher and you're really just sort of rosy-cheeked and optimistic and wide-eyed. And for some people that goes away. For me, I retain an eternal optimism. Some people would say I'm a Pollyanna, but I'm always looking for silver linings. And I think that's been a big part of my experience for teaching, and I hope that stays forever. Like, I'm still a long ways from retirement, so hopefully I stay an optimist forever.
I can only observe for our audience that all that has come through, both as we've prepared for the program and I've chatted with you on the phone and traded emails, so all of that is definitely true. For significant periods of our history, the main role of public schools was reading, writing, and arithmetic. There was no mention of a technology integration specialist, so tell us what that means, Karen.
Well, I really focus on helping teachers and students learn to use technology really effectively. And so it's technology in the service of those other things. So technology about reading and writing and arithmetic. So here on the screen, you can see I won an award from an organization called ISTE, which is the International Society of Technology Education. And I got to go to a conference in Chicago, which is really great. I've also won the Tech Jam Vermont State Award, which was really exciting. And so the ability to use technology in a way where it's not getting in the way. Technology can be really distracting to kids. We really like to use technology in a way where it's in the service of other things that kids should be learning. So all that reading, writing, and math.
There was and I don't mean this pejoratively, there was a buzzword in education throughout the 90s of interdisciplinary. I believe that is what you're talking about, using technology in areas of science and math and art and language.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, integrating all those things together can be really powerful learning experiences for kiddos, and having the ability to think about, as you're learning about the writing of a time period, also understanding what was happening in the history at that time period, what they were thinking about in math and science, and then putting that all together. And the technology really helps students find different ways to show what they know. So when I was in school, and maybe when you were in school, most of the time, if you were going to show what you know, you write a paper, and your teacher grades your paper, and there you have it. There's lots of other ways with technology that we can provide opportunities for students to show what they know and can do. And that's really important.
And one of the spaces you can use, the Mill River Library has a maker space. Communities across Vermont and the country now have maker spaces, and that's probably not vocabulary that an older demographic is used to, but you're a key part of a maker space in Rutland called the Mint. Tell us about the Mint, how you're involved, and what students are doing.
So as you mentioned, the Mint is a community makerspace in Rutland. So a makerspace is just a workshop with tools and equipment and training where people can learn how to make amazing things. So the Mint has a wood shop, a metal shop, a jewelry studio. We have a letter press, so like old style, where you put the metal letters together into the chase and you lock them up and you print on paper. We have laser cutters. So we have old technology, new technology, everything in between. And the power of those maker spaces is really giving people of all ages. So our community makerspace is for everyone. Our school makerspace is just for our students, but people of all ages, that transformative opportunity to have an idea in their head and make that idea physical. It's a really transformative experience for anybody at any age. So the ability and access to those tools and equipment is really important. And a community makerspace also fosters things like entrepreneurship and small business development, which is really important for Vermont as a whole. So community makerspaces are really important, I think, to our future as a state.
Excellent points all around. And in a way, I guess I'm just wondering out loud with some of those maker spaces, there's no right or wrong. This isn't, you got the year right or the year wrong. This is, you chose a different approach.
Yep.
That's also part of it. Yep. Now, Karen, you also coach robotics, and I'm wondering if you can talk about some of the things that students are learning or doing in robotics and why this whole area is important to their futures.
Oh my gosh, I love working with kids in robotics. So I coach 2 levels of what's called FIRST Robotics. So that's an organization. It's competitive robotics, but competitive in a really nice way. And so right now we're looking at some of my upper elementary and middle school level kids. So we have 2 of those teams here in the Rutland region. They build, design, and program a robot that completes missions on an autonomous game field, which is 4 foot by 8 foot. So like the size of a piece of plywood, essentially. And their robot has to do that all autonomously. So it can only be programmed, it's not driven. They also solve real world problems related to the theme. Then I also coach a high school level team here in the Rutland area, where we have a big coaching team and mentor team. And that team is really big, about 30 students. They build 250-pound big scale robots that play 3-on-3 on a game field about the size of a basketball court. Again, performing missions related to the game theme. The nice thing about FIRST Robotics as an activity is that kids are getting that STEM work. So our high school level kids, they're using a machine shop. We meet at the Stafford Technical Center. We use their machine shop. They design parts in CAD. They cut them on the water jet. So it's real world employable skills. For some of our kids who leave right after high school, they have really mad designing and CADing skills that they can go right out into the real world and get a job. But we also pump out engineering students like crazy. And the program has a whole separate component that focuses on what you might consider soft skills, like public speaking. Our high school students have to keep a budget of the materials they use to build their robot and explain how they spent their money. Our middle school students solve a real world problem related to the theme. So this year's theme for the middle school students is called Cargo Connect, and it's about shipping products around the world, which is very timely since we have so many supply chain issues right now. So the kids are working on solving some supply chain issues in their project.
Karen, one of the themes that I'm hearing over and over was real world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so important in education that a young person can see that what I'm doing is going to be, that it's going to be applicable. You know what I'm trying to say, to my life. Real world, that's a theme that I'm taking away. Quickly, you shared with us a few other images in advance of the program taping, and one of those images you aptly labeled librarians as connectors, and I want you to just expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, so in my role as a librarian, and even as far back as there have been librarians, that's been the traditional role of a librarian, as a connector, whether that's connecting students with books they want to read, connecting them with resources they need to complete a project, connecting my students with career resources, any connections that we can help make really benefit students and our faculty and our communities. So I really see my role here at school as a connector, and not necessarily an information gatekeeper. Sometimes librarians used to be seen as a gatekeeper, like go to the librarian, find the book you need, they'll hand you the book. I would like to be more of a connector so that I'm connecting my students with the things that they need and helping them realize that there are lots of people who can help.
Well, we know that you're doing that, and that's why you're with us today. Mill River Union High School, obviously very proud of what you've accomplished in being named Teacher of the Year. Castleton University is also very proud. How did Castleton, as your alma mater, foster your career and your interest today?
Well, you know, I started at Castleton a little bit unclear about what my major was going to be. I thought I might be an art major. I really liked art in high school. But once I got to Castleton and I saw professors being really inspiring educators, I got really interested in education, which I did not think was a path for me. So one of the puzzles of Vermont's future is recruiting more potential teachers. And so part of my Teacher of the Year work, I hope, will be figuring out how to make teaching more interesting career path for more of our students. So Castleton really helps by being inspiring, I think.
I also am going to point out, as I need to draw to a close here, that your Vermont roots run deep beyond Mill River and Castleton. Your home high school was Linden Institute. So Karen, I need to stop us there. Sharing with our audience, we've been talking with the 2022 Vermont Teacher of the Year, Karen McCullough of Mill River Union High School in Clarendon. Karen will be honored at the University of Vermont's Outstanding Teacher Day in March, alongside other outstanding educators from school districts and supervisory unions around the state. Karen, thank you for being with us, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful to talk with you.
And that is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit across the fence.